Hey guys, Jaro here. Well, I used to be a skeptic and a materialist, but there have been moments throughout my life where I had experiences that left me questioning if there was more to this world than just pure, dense matter. You see, as a skeptic, I always tried to explain those moments away, but the more I looked into it, the deeper I dug, the more I felt I was wrong in believing there was no spiritual side to our existence. So, I wanted to make this video to share my testimony and how I actually came to believe in Jesus Christ and how my worldview has changed. Well, to be completely honest with you guys, I was hesitant to even make this video. The internet is filled with these, massive grand story testimonies, and comparing mine to those made me feel a bit anxious. But I used to consider myself an honest skeptic, and by that I mean I wasn't denying the spiritual realm just because I didn't want it to exist. In fact, I actually yearned to discover the true nature of reality and walk a righteous path. I just had a really hard time believing anything without concrete evidence, and forcing myself to believe always made me feel dishonest. And truthfully, I don't think I could do that even if I tried. So, before we get into it, I want to share where my mind was back then and how that shift actually happened. Have you ever heard of the metaphor of the black swan? Well, it basically says that it only takes one single black swan to prove that not all swans are white. You can go out, do tests, and document every single swan you see for decades, and every single one of them comes back white. After enough time, you have all the data that you need to say, all swans are white. If black ones existed, someone would have seen it by now. Until one day, a black swan takes a swim through the city park and everyone is left speechless. Imagine that. That's what testing reality felt like for me. Most of the time, life gave me results that confirmed a materialist worldview. Every now and then, small events would happen, like personal, quiet moments that caught me off guard. You couldn't replicate them and you couldn't test them in a lab, but their very own nature challenged me. So, I began paying attention and opening up. Sure, you can always force a rational explanation onto something if you try really hard enough. At what point does searching for a rational explanation becomes a bigger stretch than just accepting those events for what they are and what happened? Things like dreaming about something before it happens. People say, well, we dream thousands of images, so the brain is just guessing, brain is good at guessing. But that explanation works until you experience something that is logically impossible to just guess, and at that point, trying to rationalize it becomes a real stretch. Or look at these incredible coincidences where lives are saved or people are healed. All we really need to do is listen. Things like true purpose and morality do exist, and pure rationalism can try to categorize them, but it can never truly explain why they are there. If we open our hearts and listen, we eventually hear that quiet song that was always playing there. You see, that's what happened to me. I prefer to say that I outgrew materialism. Over time, I felt a deep desire grow inside me, a desire to connect with God and pursue a righteous path. Of course, I make mistakes and I'll continue to make them. I still sin and I still have doubts, but deep down, I know my life is saved, even if on the outside, not much about me looks radically different. When people look at the events in my life from the outside, it might just look like a series of coincidences that helped me solve a problem, but an outside observer doesn't know about my prayers or what those moments meant to me personally. If pure materialism were true, those deep convictions wouldn't make sense. If our entire nature was just to survive, reproduce, and nothing else, why would anyone feel driven towards something that requires energy, sacrifice, and goes against the common narrative of the crowd? It wouldn't make sense, of course. The simple feeling of being alive and being present is far too powerful to be brushed off as consciousness just being some accidental byproduct of matter, as some emergent property or something. Basically, it's real. It's real enough to feel the glory of God and realize deeper truths about who we are. So, that is the truth of how I came to Christ. I felt it grow in me without any single dramatic event. The only thing I did was quiet myself down and listen. I want to leave you guys with a verse that I think fits perfectly. It's Jeremiah 29:13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Well, I hope you're doing well and I'll see you in the next one.